Hey everyone, welcome back to this yearly video thing that I stopped doing and have decided to do again. Yeah, woo, big deal, I guess. Before we get started, I'm just testing out new microphone settings. Just let me know if it sounds any good. I'm still fiddling with it, so who knows. Yeah, I was doing this as like a yearly thing on my main channel because like I was playing a lot of games and I thought like it'd make for just like some easy content to like talk about all the games I played in a year. Going forward, I kind of like I'm not really happy with a lot of the low effort content that I've like put on the main channel. So last year I just didn't do one, but this year it was like, man, I've played like a lot of games and I like a lot of them a lot. So I want to like talk about them, but I don't want to like do that sort of video on the main channel. So I'm just like, wait, I've got like a second channel. I can just like put it on there, you know? So that's what we're going to do. So here we go. But we're not starting with this year. I want to rectify last year's absence and do last year's tier list thing. Because I did play like a little, I played some really good games here. I didn't play a whole lot, but yeah. Before we get started, I just want to say I'm a firm believer of like scores and like ranking art to be like really stupid. And really there's no difference between giving a game like whatever number out of 10 and putting it on like a tier list. Literally the only reason I'm doing this is because it's an excuse to show something on screen as I'm talking. I like to look at the game covers as I'm talking about them, and I like to pick them up. Literally the only reason that I like doing tier lists as like a format, right? Please don't put like any value into like the individual rankings I'm giving them. Yeah, I'm kind of just doing it because it's fun. Also, before we get started, I have like these tiers here because like already made, because I did make a tier list image last year. I just put it in a community post. I'm going to just be like recreating that and talking about the stuff. It won't be exactly the same because I've replayed a couple of these. And last thing, I'm also a strong believer that you should go into any experience blind. I'm a big advocate for like no spoilers and like of not only the game's content, but like not letting outside opinions sort of like mold your perception of a game. So like me saying a game is like really bad is going to be like, oh man, this person said this game is really bad, I should like avoid it. Or if you are going to play it, you go into it being like, well, I heard this is really bad, and then like you're already being primed to like sort of think something. So I'm a big advocate of not doing any of that. I go into any experience you want to play blind. So if throughout this whole video I'm going to talk about a game that's on your backlog, I guess skip that part and go play it. There's some good games here. I mean, yeah, I can't tell you what to do. That's just like my personal like philosophy when it comes to experiencing art. So you know, do what you will, I guess. Anyway, we're gonna get started. This is 2022's list. Okay, we're gonna get started with wow, the worst thing I've ever fucking played. Oh my god. Okay, so this is the Klonoa Wii remake. This came out in 2008, and if you've seen the last uploaded video on my main channel, you know exactly my thoughts on this. Absolutely missed the point in so many regards to the original experience, especially considering the original game is like, just like in terms of its presentation alone, orders of magnitude above like everything else that really came out that generation, really. And honestly, like most of what's come after, it's like it still holds up as being like one of the most polished, creative experiences, and like just from a presentation aspect alone, I've ever played. And this game, oh my god, it flat out failed on every front in that regard. Like the gameplay's fine, you know, it's whatever. I do think it's a lot worse than the original for a number of reasons. Like, I don't want to get into it. I got so burnt out talking about Klonoa last year because it was all negative. I just couldn't be happy when it came to this little fucking cat rabbit little guy. So I'm just gonna move on. Okay, one other thing I forgot to say. in the previous years that I've done these videos, what I was doing throughout the year was when I'd finish a game, I would open up a Word document and just like write dot points of my thoughts, basically. I didn't do this last year and I didn't do this year. So this video I'm making right now, entirely off the cuff of just what I remember, not scripted whatsoever, which I would hope to rectify that next year. So yeah, I'll talk a little bit about that later. Anyway, the next game here is Tearaway Unfolded. I didn't finish this. Yeah, we're off to a great start. Okay, I didn't finish this because I started this early in the year, and it was like maybe not even 6 months. It was like less than a year since I finished the original Tearaway, and Tearaway Unfolded is sort of like a remake. No, it's not really. It's like a director's cut sort of thing. It's essentially the exact same game with some added levels, some different sort of stuff. It's sort of like a remix, I guess, but it was on PS4 as opposed to PS Vita. So the reason I dropped it was because like I had only kind of just played it, and it was still like really fresh in my mind, and like I played it a lot. Like I beat the game and then I went back through a bunch of the levels to try and like get 100%. I didn't get all the way there, but I played it a lot, so I was feeling a little bit burnt out at that point, I guess. And if I'm being honest, like, look, I've heard really good things about this version specifically, but I really liked the original, and so much of what I liked about it was like the unique experience that you got from playing it on a PS Vita. Like, you just can't get that experience elsewhere, and they try and supplement a lot of like the touchscreen uniqueness and mechanics and stuff that the original had with like pairing your phone to the PlayStation app and like interacting with some of the stuff through there. But not only was my phone at the time really shit, it's more disconnected, because like the original was, so much of it was just like, you know, your connection as the player to this world, and you're looking at it through this device, like that's how you're interacting and gazing into this world. Like literally, like your face is the sun, you know? And like they just they had to make obvious concessions with the PS4 version. They couldn't recreate everything for obvious reasons. So I don't know, the whole time I was playing it, I was just like, man, this is just not as good as the PS Vita version. So I don't know, I'm gonna revisit it at some point soon, because yeah, that's my fault. Okay, the next is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Battle Nexus. So, like beginning of last year, there was a point in time where my friend Kane, you know, viewers of the stream would know him, he would come over quite like kind of often. This is before I moved in with him, and we kind of just played like a bunch of, like I had my CRT set up in my room, and we kind of just wanted to play a bunch of like PS2 games on it, like multiplayer ones. This was kind of the... Oh, I should have added... Oh, fuck me. Never mind. Look, we started with the first Team N2 game on PS2, and it sucked. So then we tried out the second one, which also sucked, but we finished this one. It's just like... It's really like basic and janky, not really that fun, like beat 'em up sort of thing. Like every Ninja Turtle, like you can play as like any of the 4, but each one only has like 3 moves. It's weird. It's got like a weird top-down camera angle, and the platforming is really awkward. So I don't know. I'd put it there. It was not great. Okay. Next, God, did I get a 3DS last year? Yeah, I think I got a 3DS last year. Must have been. Oh, I can't remember. Anyway, I got a 3DS and I loaded up some games. This is The World Ends With You. I didn't finish it. Look, I really dug it. I really did. Like the whole vibe, aesthetic, like it's just so cool. The thing I couldn't get behind was the gameplay. Not that it's bad, it's just like I got stupid monkey ADHD brain, and it's just like I can't read all these tutorials. I don't understand anything that's going on. It's such a weird combat system, because you've got to like on the bottom screen you've got to like use the stylus to like attack, and then on the top screen you use the buttons to attack, and you've got to like I didn't understand anything that was going on, or like the badges or whatever. I didn't really get it, so I kind of just dropped it. Kingdom Hearts Recoded. Look, I didn't finish this either, because look, I started playing this in like high school, initially. But when I got a 3DS, I'm like, oh, okay, I can actually just, like, that was an emulator. So I installed it on my 3DS, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna actually, like, finish this time. I played it for, like, one night, and then I just didn't get back to it. It's like, it's whatever. Yeah, I don't know, I don't have much to say about it. Okay. Oh, also, the order of all these games, very rough. I couldn't nail down the exact order I played all these. Just what I remember from memory and looking over my Steam library history and stuff like that. Really rough, but we make do. Tokobot. This is a PSP platformer, puzzle platformer. It's weird. So like, you basically play as this kid and you can take control of these things called Tokobots. And what they do is they like kind of link together. And you can do a lot of different platforming puzzles and different attacks with them. And it's really charming. I liked the music, the overall like vibe and everything I really liked. And when the game was focusing on platforming, it was pretty decent. The problem is there's a lot of combat. Not like a lot, but like there's enough to where it's just like, please just let it end. And like like about halfway through the game, it was like, and it just became a slog. I was not having a very good time. Yeah, I don't know. It's a shame. Like I did enjoy this, but I don't know. I'm just gonna chuck it. I liked it more than that. Let's just give it that. Look, they did like a director's cut sort of thing on PS2. I might check that out at some point. See if like because the controls are a big issue for me, and I wonder if it's just because it's a PSP game. I don't know. So anyway, next up is Quake, the original by id Software, 1995, 96, can't remember. Yeah, one of the most important first-person shooters out there. Really fucking atmospheric, grungy as fuck sort of stuff. Really like it. I've played through it like once since then, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure if I beat it the second time. I've booted it up a bunch of times just to like have something to do in the background, just like, you know, and it's good fun. Like it's a good shooter. I'm just gonna type an A. Didn't like blow my mind or whatever. It's not Doom tier, I don't think. But you know, really great stuff. Okay, next is Helltaker. This is like I believe it's free on Steam. Sort of just like puzzle game. Look, I know nothing about the fan base, but just like Googling for this image to add to this tier list, it was just like, yeah, maybe I should look into the fan base. It's not as horny as it makes it out to be, okay? There's not really much that goes on in this game. Basically, you're a dude in hell, and you need to collect all the demon waifus by like moving in grids and not getting killed or whatever. I don't know. I found it really charming. I found it really funny. I found the art really good. I beat it in like a single sitting. It's gonna go like that. I actually, like, just looking at the images again, I'm just like, damn, this was like a really tight package for something that's like free. I gotta play that again. But yeah, I had a great time with that. Okay, we got the greatest game of all time. We got The Blob, and I beat the second one last year. And it's going straight in S tier. Holy shit, like, what a fucking game. Like, I love the first The Blob. I played it 2021, and it was just like, dude, this is like the coolest fucking game ever. Like, this, like, what appears to be shovelware sort of game for the Wii turns out to be one of the coolest fucking games ever made. Like, you play as like a blob, and you go around painting stuff to fight fascism. This G-rated game with the boppiest fucking soundtrack in the world. And then it's like the second game, it's like, okay, we're gonna do that again, but this time we're on the PS3. We're not just on the Wii. We're on like an actual console. And it's just like, road. I played this on PS4, to be fair. Not the best port, as far as I can tell. There's a lot of like stuttering. I bought a PS3 copy to compare. I never did. So I'll replay it on PS3 when I get a chance. But holy shit, this game. Oh, the levels. They're so much more expansive, so much bigger, so much more to do. The political undertones are like whack as fuck this time. Like, there's literally like an in-game reference to Tiananmen Square. There's like like there's things to do with like cults controlling the media and like indoctrinating people, and it's what is this child's game about painting? This is the coolest shit in the world. And again, the soundtrack is excellent. All that being said, I do prefer the first game. I think it's a tighter package, not as much like I don't know, the second game felt a bit more spread thin, and I didn't think the plot at the end was like as compelling. I don't know. I think the simplicity of the first game was what I really appreciate. But like they're so close, you know. Like what's the point? Just play both. They're both cool games. Anyway, okay. The next one is American McGee's Alice. Now I played this in 2020. For those who are keeping up and observant. So what's it doing here? Well, okay, in 2020's list, I chucked this in like its own special tier for how much I fucking loathed it. And I really regret that because I replayed it. And to be honest, one of my favorite games of all time. It's like literally right there in my background. I bought like the big box PC version, like the original that came out back in the day. I imported it from America because it was the specific cover I wanted, the specific like version of the game I wanted. It was very expensive. It's one of my favorite games. The problem was the first time I played it on PS3, and not only is that like a horrible idea because of the controls were fucking awful. Like this is very clearly a PC shooter, but also like the port itself was shit. Just like a really horrible way to experience the game. So I installed it on my PC and I replayed it, and it's just like, dude, I just connected with it so much more this time, because like the first time, like I did enjoy like the story and like the themes and the aesthetic and the music and everything. I enjoyed like everything about it except for the gameplay, but because I loathed the gameplay so much, it brought everything else down. So I just did not have a good time with it. This time though, it was just like, dude, this game fucking rules. And I vastly prefer it to the second game now, which I'll admit is a more fun game to play. But like as like an artistic piece, like what I've come to appreciate in games has changed a lot in the past like just year alone. I think what I think a game accomplished, what I think it did special and different, and how it resonated with me, I find those things a lot more important than like just how fun the mechanics are, you know? Like making a fun game, that's the easy part, you know? Like the hard part is to make something artistically interesting that has its own voice. And sometimes it's not executed as well as it could have been. Sometimes there are issues, but the sheer like attempt in some cases just like outdoes all of that. Now, I don't think the first Alice game is more ambitious than the second one. I just think the second one has a lot of... It has a lack of polish, I think. I have a lot of issues with the second game. I like after I replayed the first game, I replayed the second one as well. And these are very complicated games, not only from a critic's perspective, but just like artistically very dense and complicated. So possibly a video in 20 years from me. I don't know. These are like really, really complicated games with a lot to talk about. But I just feel like the first Alice game is just, it just feels so handcrafted and like such like a polished experience. Like the gameplay and like the shooting and the combat, you know, it's not the greatest thing out there, but it's very creative, and just being in this world is just like, it's second to none. I just resonated with this a whole lot more this time, and I since played through it again on stream this year, 2023. I'm recording this midnight, 1st of January 2024. I played it again on stream. On hard mode. I didn't play it on Nightmare, and it was still like a really good game. So like, you know, 3 times is like my minimum for like having concrete thoughts on a game, I think. And yeah, fucking masterpiece. One of my favorite games of all time. Okay, next up is Max Payne 2. Now, okay. We're going to be talking a lot about Remedy in this video, but this is just like a teaser though. So my first Remedy game was the first Max Payne. I played that when I was about 14, 15 on PS2, and I fell in love with it. It was one of my favorite games. And the reason it's taken me so long to get to the second game was because I had it on PS2. Like, I've got it on PS2. It's just the PS2 version sucks because it has... Okay, the PS2 version of 1 sucks as well, but I didn't realize that because I didn't play the PC version at the time. What prompted me to play Max Payne 2 finally was I installed the first Max Payne as well and played that on PC. Oh, excellent experience. I've grown to appreciate that game so much more than when I first played it. But the reason I didn't play... So on PS2, they took a lot of liberties with the original experience in order to like get it to run properly. So it split the levels into smaller and smaller chunks. So, and those were like the checkpoints. There was a checkpoint like each level. In Max Payne 2, they didn't do that on the PS2 port. They took the level structure. They did it exactly the same, and the saving system was also exactly the same. So that meant your checkpoints were your saves. There's no quick saving and loading on PS2 like there is on PC. You just like press like F9 or whatever and that loads. On PS2, it takes like fucking 2 minutes to save and 2 minutes to load or whatever. So every time you died, you had to do that. And that was fucking infuriating. So I think I tried like twice to play through it on PS2. And I just couldn't. It was awful. I was like, I will wait until I play this on PC. Fast forward to last year. I finally get around to like trying to get it to run on PC. I look up some guides to install some patches, and I play through the first game, fucking love it. Then I played through the second game, and honestly, I chucked it there. Now, when I first played it, I guess there was a lot of expectation because the first game was something really special to me. It was such like a unique experience, and I really fucking loved the, like, you know, the down and dirty fucking criminal underground aspect to the first game. I really loved that vibe, that setting. So like the first chapter of the first game is like my favorite part of it because like it just, like, I just love I love all that stuff, right? And so the second game, you're playing as Max and he's a cop again. So immediate red flag, right? No, like it was just, I don't know. I didn't find like the enemy faction, I guess, as compelling as like the first game had like a bunch of different enemy factions. It had like all the different crime families, like the fucking the Nicole Horn, Acer Corporation's like henchmen and stuff. Like it was a bunch of different stuff. But in Max Payne 2, it's just like the cleaners, right? And I felt that was kind of lame. I was engaged in the story, but my problem with it was like there was like literally 0 new characters that weren't in the first game, except for one character, one of like the police people, right? And so I found that a bit like disappointing as well. And so by the end of it, I was just like, okay, I guess that was like a polished experience. It was fun. But man, I didn't find it as special as that first game. So that was my first playthrough. Earlier this year sometime, I don't know why, I just had like an inkling like, I want to play Max Payne again. But I don't want to play the first game, I've played it a bunch. I want to play the second one. So I replayed it. Oh my god. Dude, it's so good. Like, okay, it's still like the first game a lot more. Should be noted, I also, Max Payne 2, I beat it like in a single sitting both times. Well, the first time was more like 2 sittings, but like, they weren't super far apart. It's a much shorter game than the first one. It's a lot more of a tight package. There isn't a lot of like filler that the first game had. Look, I think it's all charming anyway. I like the first game a lot, but the second one, it felt like a more tight package. And like this time, like this second time when I was following the story, and man, I was just so much more engrossed in everything. And man, I don't know. Look, I still think the gameplay of the first one is better. I think the way bullet time is handled is more interesting in the first game. But fuck me if it isn't a lot of fun in this second one. It's so much fun. Man, I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it. It's just I found myself a lot more engrossed in the story this second time. And when I reached the credits the first time I played it, I was just like, you know, that was good. The second time though, I was kind of destroyed a bit. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, the ending, like the last line of dialogue, and then the Poets of the Fall song that plays is just like, dude, this is video games. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like, I still think about that ending sometimes. I just hear Max's voice in my head, that last line he says, and I just tear up a bit, you know? It was just, it's just, dude, what the fuck? You know, I don't know. Max Payne 2 is really fucking good, and I've been itching to play it again because, again, like, I've played it twice. I really do feel like, for me personally, it takes me at least 3 times to really get a game, and I want to play it on the higher difficulties because, like, I did find it a lot easier than the first game. That's Max Payne 2. I guess I'm done talking about that. Okay, time for Klonoa. Okay, you'll see I've got Klonoa twice here because I wanted to list each. This is the Fantasy Reverie series. This is the collection of Klonoa 1 and 2 remade from the ground up. I wanted to rank each game individually. So for Klonoa 1, okay, the Klonoa 1 remake is based on of this remake, and it's really bad still. Literally the only thing better in the newer remake is they got back the original voice lines from the PS1 version, which is great because the voice lines in the Wii remake fucking sucked. But that introduces its own problems because they didn't fix it properly. Look, I've talked about this a lot, but like, this is still a really horrible way to experience the first game. Nowhere close. Like, this has its own issues that this one doesn't. And so they're both horrible. Klonoa 2's remake. Look, the Klonoa Reverie series really radicalized me into taking a firm anti-remake stance because I think they're anti-art with little exception. And I won't go into it right now because it's like every other stream I'm sent into a fucking frenzy about this. So look, I'm not going to talk about it right here, but the Klonoa 2 remake is a lot better than the Klonoa 1 remake. I still would firmly advocate play the original because that is the original game. That is what the team made. That's what the original artists who created that work, that's what they made. That is Klonoa 2. This is a derivative work that I think you should still experience the first game, the original version. Having said that, this remake has some issues. It's got some audio-visual issues, which just indicate a lack of polish. And like, I get the feeling that this whole remake collection was very like low budget. The team didn't have a lot of resources to work with, so I totally sympathize. There's a lot of small issues with Klonoa 2's remake, and they kind of just add up a lot. It just feels a lot less polished, you know? Whereas the original, again, it's another one like Max Payne 2. The first time I played it, the original was like a masterpiece in my eyes, and I was just like, man, that was okay. Replayed it, oh my god, this game is fucking awesome. And so, you know, I replayed, and then I played it again with the fantasy remake, and you know, it was fine. Look, I'm gonna chuck it there just purely because it's the remake, but it's fine. If you literally can't play the original version at all, play this, I guess. But please emulate the first game, okay? Do not play either of these remakes if you're gonna play the first game. Spiel about Klonoa Ogre, I guess. Okay, this is Catherine. Okay, Catherine is a weird puzzle platformer dating sim game that I really like. I put it like that. So I played through it once last year. Well, 2022, I played through it once. I got the normal good ending, I think. I kind of just played it by ear. With games like this, when I know there's multiple endings, what I'll do is I'll play it, I won't try to get an ending. I would just answer the questions and go about playing it however I like. And then after I'm done with that, I'll be like, okay, not trying to spoil like what these endings entail, but I'm going to try to get an idea of like what goes into getting different endings, like the methodology and stuff. So I played through it last year, got that ending, and I don't think I touched it again all year, but this year I've replayed it maybe 3 times now, trying to get all the endings and getting, I kind of want to get 100%. I did a lot of like the Rapunzel arcade game stuff. I played through the whole first 64 levels, and now there's another 64, and it's just like, Jesus Christ. Really fucking good game. I love the art style. I love the anime cutscenes. I think the story is like, look, it's anime. There's a lot of like weird like gender stuff when it comes to like men and women and their role in society and relationships and stuff. I'm not going to get into that. I think it's just dumb fun. You know, I don't think it's got anything like super profound to say. And if it was trying, I don't think it really succeeds. But like, you know, it's a fun time. It's got anime ladies, you know, like what more do you want? And like the puzzle platforming is genuinely like really fun and deep. I've only played it on easy and normal so far. I'm waiting for my last playthrough of it to play it on hard, and I'm gonna have a lot of fun with it because it's a really fun game. That's Catherine. I picked up, oh, you can't see it, but I've got both collector's editions for like the original on PS3 and full body on PS4 up there. I still haven't, they're both sealed. I still haven't opened the PS4 one, but I'm gonna play that at some point. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, next is LA Noire. I didn't finish this. Look, I'm looking forward to Tim Rogers' video on it from Action Button. But it's like, man, I know he said, don't bother playing it. His video is going to be enough, but I want to play it. I'm just one of those weirdos. But I started it last year. I put maybe an hour or 2 into it, and I just don't get it. Like, I just couldn't figure out the mechanics, like the interrogation mechanics. And I think it's just because I would be a bad cop. Like I just couldn't get the context clues. It was trying to, I just didn't get it. And it was, okay, I'm gonna give a specific example. Early in the game, there's a, I'm not gonna have the details perfect, but this is what I remember. Early in the game, you go to this crime scene. There's an abandoned car in like a train lot with like, I think a bloody tire iron. I can't remember if there's a dead body there or not, but it's like a crime scene. Someone's been killed. And this is like 1930s America. And the guy working there, who's like, I think called the cops, is a black man. And so it was, I was making a lot of assumptions into how the game was trying to do things, right? Because like you need to like ask questions to interrogate people, like interrogate, right? And try and make calls into like what the truth really is, what they're hiding, and base that off of like their body language, their face and stuff like that. And so when it came to this guy specifically, I was thinking, okay, am I playing this under the assumption that this is in line with today's biases on race, or doing an accurate depiction of what police would be like to black men in 1930s America? And I just couldn't wrap my brain around it. And I was just like, and also like, am I trying to roleplay being a cop who is a piece of shit to black people? Or am I just playing the game like with normal morals in mind? You know what I mean? It was a really weird experience, and I couldn't crack it. And even like outside of that specific scenario, there's like a tutorial early on in the game where you go into a room and you need to interrogate a guy, like sit down at a table with him, ask him a bunch of questions. And it's like one of those tutorials where it's like, if you fail it, you'll leave the room, your boss will tell you to get back in there, do your job, and the scenario will repeat as if like you never went in there in the first place. And it was so bad because like I just didn't understand the prompts. I didn't understand the implications. I didn't understand where the game was trying to lead me to, what it was trying to lead me to believe. that I literally just had to brute force this tutorial because I didn't understand what was going on and how to answer anything. So, and then I took that not understanding how to play this fucking game throughout the rest of my like playtime. So yeah, I played it for a couple hours and I'm just like, man, I can't be bothered with this. So I dropped it. I will likely revisit it at some point. Yeah, that was my experience with lmao. Woo. Okay, next is Atelier Riser, the first game. I played this for about maybe 10 hours. It was sort of my game that I would play after school as like a chill out game. And I was enjoying it. My problem is that I was playing it after having a long day at school. My brain was like 25% capacity. And there was a lot of tutorials about like how to do like alchemy and stuff. And I didn't really grasp it. And so like just after a little bit, I kind of just stopped playing. Like it was one of those things where I just played it less and less. But like I was really enjoying it. It's like it's a cool chill out game, and I did just buy an Atelier Riser figure because it was really pretty. I pre-ordered it like while I was playing this game. It was just like, but it only just released now, so yeah. I will come back to this. I'm really looking forward to coming back to it. But yeah. Okay, next is Session Skate Sim, which, look, I didn't finish this game, but I've sunk a lot of time into it over the past 2 years, I guess, 2022, 2023. I played it a lot. Not a lot, I put maybe like 15, 20 hours into it. It's a lot of fun. It has a really deep learning curve, and I was a lot better at the game last year than I am currently because I was playing it more. I never fully got the hang of like how to do things, like grinding and stuff is still very difficult. But I had a lot of fun with it. I think it's a really ambitious project. I wish it had more funding so it could be a lot more polished experience. I'm going to chuck it around like C. I chucked it in B last time, but right upon reflection, I think it belongs in about a C. Very ambitious. It is like literally, it is a simulator game. It's not like a game in the traditional sense. It's got very little things to do. It's literally just like a playground of like, it's literally just tools and mechanics that you can like fine tune to get like an authentic skating experience. And I think that is super cool. It's like a digital, it's like an authentic digital version of what it's like to learn a real skateboard. You are going to suck for ages. There is a deep learning curve. But once you put in the time, like you can start doing cool shit. And I've seen like videos of people playing this and it's like, how the fuck did you do that? You know, like it's really cool. And it's got like a robust like camera system so you can film like sessions and stuff. Because it's the name of the game, get it? Anyway, yeah, really cool stuff. I kind of fell off, I just kind of lost interest, but really awesome nonetheless. Okay, next is The Blob 2 on DS. I went to a gig interstate at the end of last year, and I brought my 3DS, and it was like, you know what, there's only one more The Blob game, and it's the second game on DS. It's not really like a port of this game, it's like its own little, it's like its own game. Apparently in the canon, I think it takes place between 1 and 2, because we need the Blob lore, right? You know, it's fine. It was just like a decent like 2D side scroller. But with like, you know, the painting mechanics and the music of The Blob. And it's cool because like it still had like the dynamic soundtrack that the first 2 games had, which is pretty cool. Not much more to say. Okay. The last game to talk about here is Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. Preempting this, Ninja Theory is one of my favorite devs. They made Hellblade, they made Enslaved, Odyssey to the West, the DMC reboot, which long story, I played it way back in high school. It was my first DMC. I didn't really know what the series was. I enjoyed it, but I've got to replay it now that I'm actually a fan of DMC. And they made Hellblade. I love Heavenly Sword. I wasn't hot on Enslaved when I first played it in 2020. I've since replayed it. I think it's excellent. and then I played Hellblade end of last year. I think I put it like there. Oh, dude, this is like really fucking good. Like, okay, it's one of those games where it's like, this is a video game. This is like an artistic narrative experience you can only get in a video game because of what it does with audio and the way it interacts with, like, you know, like as you play. And it's really excellent. I recommend it to everyone. Play it in a dark room, good headphones on, and it's like 8 hours long. It's not very long. It's not very difficult. It's very minimal mechanically, which I think is to its benefit. Just a really excellent game. And the second game is like the only AAA game that is in development that I'm like hyped for. There's nothing else that's even on my radar at the moment. Yeah, I highly recommend it. These last 4 were games that I started playing in 2022 and didn't finish. I was in the midst of playing them at the time. But luckily for me, I managed to beat all of them this year, 2023, and so we will talk about them in the next tier list. So yeah, I don't have as many tiers on this one because I didn't create any. I don't know if I'll need to. It should be noted though, I don't think I've played a single bad game this year. So I don't know if we'll even use the D tier, and I don't know if we should treat D as like a reference point for the rest of what's on here, or we should treat D as like a universal like standard of ranking. I don't think we should do that. We'll just treat D as like the worst games that I played this year, but none of these are really bad. Man, I've been recording for 44 minutes now, and I only played this many games last year. I'm going to be here a long time. I don't know. Okay, I'm just going to get into this. Okay. First game, The Adventures of Alondra. Really fucking good. Okay, I started playing it 2022, and then I finished it in like January. One of the few PS1 games I own physically, and I played it on my CRT. Oh my god. It not only is it like such a joy that I like when I get to use my CRT for gaming, because like it's not super often that I get the opportunity to. Like a PS1 game as well, because I can't play digital PS1 games on the actual hardware. At least not yet. I really want to mod my PS1. Anyway, Alondra. It's a PS1 JRPG, but like not like a turn-based one. It's an action RPG, which is really cool. I can't remember the name of the series that like the developers that left the original studio created this studio to create. Look, the history of this one is complicated. It's a lot like an old Sega Genesis RPG, and this game is really really good. Boppin' music, absolutely boppin' music. Of course it is. It's a 90s RPG, right? Like, man, this game is actually really hard as well, but it's like really really fun. It's like one of those. It's a 2D game. It's a 32-bit 2D game. We didn't get many of those, and it's really sick. And so the combat is like, it's really fun. The exploration and platforming in this RPG, right? It's so much fun. But it is very difficult, but like a fun sort of difficult. And it's like, and the exploration, it's like there's like a whole map that's like open, like it's sort of like I guess like a sort of Metroidvania-esque, not really, because like you got to unlock parts of the map with new abilities that you unlock as you play, and new weapons and stuff. I don't know. I don't play a lot of the genre, but it's a lot of fun. The story was surprisingly moving, like, and the dialogue and the writing was like really fucking good. I am aware that the localization team that did this game was kind of notorious in the 90s for doing a lot of like taking a lot of liberties with the source material to make it like more charming sort of thing. And I'm not 100% sure where I stand on that, but I will tell you the writing in this game was really good, and I don't know how much is up to that. Like there's a few jokes in there that are very clearly like weren't originally in there, but I can't tell if it's just them adding their own jokes or how you would interpret a Japanese joke for an English audience, or if like the jokes even like existed or were similar at all. Anyway, it was really good. The like and the plot and like the final boss and like the final like this game has like a genre of final levels that is just like I see so rarely. It's like one of those, not sorry for spoilers or whatever, I just want to talk about it real quick. It's like one of those ones where it's like, you know, how many RPGs have you played where it's like the last level is like you're like descended into hell itself, and it's all like fucking blah, like the ending of Kingdom Hearts 1, right? how many do you play where like the final level is like this pristine fucking ancient abandoned sort of like structure, and it's just like, and it's just so beautiful and melancholic, and it's like, and that's where you go to slay this ultimate evil, right? And it's just so cool, so fucking cool. One of my favorite games. I do need to add a row because I'm really stupid. Okay, I forgot to add some rows. I added them now. So Alundra 2, I didn't finish it. So I started playing Alundra 2 like soon after playing the first one, and I kind of dropped it. I'll explain why. So I found out about the Alundra series because I was looking for like weird Japanese PS1 platformers. There's not a lot of them, which kind of sucks. And Alundra 2 is sort of that. It's a look. I'm just an appreciator of like early 3D jank games. You know, like like playing wise, they're not like very polished, or like they're very clearly punching above their weight in terms of like what the hardware is able to achieve. And Alundra 2 is that 100%. It's slow, it's clunky, but like it's got like a charm, you know, and I like games like that. So I found out about Alundra 2 first, because that was the sort of game I was looking for. But it's like, well, I can't play the second game first, right? I gotta play the first one. So I played the first one, it's like, holy fuck, one of my favorite games, so good. Started playing the second game, and it was like, I just couldn't help but make the comparisons, you know? Like, Alundra 2 is a game that, like, in the very niche fan base this series has, not very well liked. Because of how drastically different it is from the first one. Like, the series is called Alundra, and you don't play as Alundra in the second game, you know? Like, I don't know. It's like a different setting, different characters, like, different gameplay. Like, it's like still an action RPG, but it's in 3D now. And it's... When you're coming off the heels of a game as absolutely dripping in polish and excellence as the first Alundra, it's very hard to like just like go do it again but in 3D. And I don't know they were doing that exactly. I don't think they were. I didn't make it very far in Alundra 2. I got up to like the first like house, I think, like I woke up in someone's house and then I explored outside a little bit. I just couldn't help making the comparisons to the first game. And I was like, okay, this just isn't fair to Alundra 2. I really want to give it its fair shake. So I decided that I'm not going to play it until I'm quite far removed from that first game. So my mind isn't constantly making those comparisons. Because like I want to like both, you know? But I just hope the second one's good. Okay. Next game. Another PS1 game, kind of obsessed with the console at the very start of the year. I wish I had more games for it. Emperor's New Groove for PS1. Oh my god, good game, real good game. It's like unironically, like this is such a fucking cool platformer, you know? Like it's like really witty and funny in its dialogue, like like and it's just like a lot of fun. Like the platforming is really cool. Like the level design is like is creative and it was just a fun romp, like a really cool game, and I would definitely play it again. I don't have much more to say about it, other than like if you're looking for like a goofy ass fucking PS1 platformer based on one of the greatest animated films ever, give it a play. Okay, next is Celeste. Look, I'm gonna chuck it in A, because it really is a fucking excellent game. Like a really awesome 2D platforming. Really satisfying gameplay. It's really fun. The graphics and the presentation is really spot on. The story is like really like heartfelt and stuff. And look, I really enjoyed it, and I understand like the queer themes behind it and everything. But I don't know, I just never resonated with it so hard in that sort of way. I don't know, maybe I just gotta replay it again, but like I just see a lot of like creators I really like video essayists like go on about how much of a masterpiece this game is. And I mean, I don't know, I just didn't really connect with it that much on the first time. So maybe a second time I'll like sort of, you know, ooh, I don't know. I connected with Kingdom Hearts more. I don't know. I'm really stupid and gay, alright? Anyway, Celeste is really good. I really recommend it. Next is Devil May Cry 3 twice. So the reason for this is because aforementioned stupid and gay. I can't handle it, okay? I need to play the original version of everything first. I couldn't just play special edition first, okay? What do you want from me? So my first playthrough of DMC3 was the original North American release on PS2, which I know isn't even like the original version because that version was bumped up from the Japanese version in terms of difficulty. So I don't know. I'm just stupid, and this game is fucking awesome. Okay, look, I was having a horrible time at first because holy shit, man, they ain't lying. This game is hard. I got stuck on level 3 for a bit, couldn't beat Cerberus. I tried and tried and tried, and I beat him. Got past level 4, okay. Level 5, Agni and Rudra. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. This game was ball busting, man. And if you haven't played this game, or if you haven't played this version, what you need to understand is Devil May Cry 3 is a very intense action game. And it's this original version, what they did was they took the Japanese release and put the default difficulty on hard mode. And they called it normal. So this game didn't have an easy mode. They eliminated it. The easy mode in this original North American release is normal. Like, it's really dumb. So I was playing on hard mode, and I wouldn't let myself stoop to playing it on the quote-unquote easy mode because I wanted to like play it as gamers did back when it released. At least in like, you know, in the West. So there's that. And also, if you die in a level, you have to play the whole level over again. There's no checkpoints. People bitch about Jak 2 being hard. So there's that. That was all going against me. So I get up to level 4 with... No, level 5, sorry. And the boss at the end of that level is a 1v2 boss against these two guys with swords in this like hallway sort of arena. So it was one of those things where it was like, you know what, I've got no choice here but trial and error. I was playing on emulator, I could have save stated, that would have defeated the whole purpose. I wanted to be like a full-on, you know, gamer, let's go, such a hardcore gamer. I grinded my nose to the stone or whatever that fucking saying is. I put in the work, and I fucking bit by bit was learning how to play this game, right? And I was learning like the flow of combat and how to fucking like get good at it. To be clear, I was using items because like, you know, I was still learning, so that I did use items in like the fight. But there was a point where it was like I was done trying to do this on my own, so I booted it up on stream just to like, so I could share in the suffering, I guess. And I fucking finally clutched that W after fucking ages and ages of being stuck on it. And that sweet, sweet release of victory, you know? Oh my god. Oh my god. And to be honest, I didn't struggle. I didn't struggle like that hard for the rest of the game. I beat Virgil 1 and 2 first try. I was so proud of myself. Virgil 3 I also streamed for the first time. And, you know, I struggled a bit, but I got him in the end. And I have since replayed this game on special edition like 4 times, right? Like I just like, it just became my like my game to play in the background while I do like watch YouTube or whatever. Because like it's just the combat is just so fucking good. Like it's just so fucking good, you know? It's just so much fun. And like you just keep going on the higher difficulties, and it's just like, oh my god, it's such a good game. Such a good game. I also went back earlier, like maybe a month or 2 ago, and replayed the original, but I put it on a USB, I played it on my PS2, on PS2 hardware, on my CRT, and I was like, I need to prove to myself that I can beat this game again without doing a bunch of grinding. Because when I first beat the original version, I went on to level 3, and I just kept replaying it to grind up orbs and my styles. This time I was like, I'm not going to do any of that. Every level I play through once. I'm not going to go back. It's all going to be one playthrough. Let's do it. First tried. Agni and Rudra. First tried. I was like, okay, I've done it. I'm the real gamer now. And it was so much fun. Like, this game is just so great. And you know, it's another thing where it's like I also went back and replayed the first game this year, 2023. I gotta keep clarifying. And I liked it a whole lot fucking more than I did the first time. Like, when I played it in 2020, I gave it a B. And I like it better than number 3. It's my favorite DMC. And again, it's for a number of reasons. The same with like Alice, right? Like, technically Alice 2 is more fun to play than the first game. Technically DMC 3 is more fun than the first DMC, but there's a lot of things that DMC 1 does, and a lot of like what makes it like a really unique package and a unique experience that I think, just for me personally, I like it a lot more than DMC 3. Anyway, I got to play DMC 4. I played it for maybe an hour just on emulator, but I picked it up on PS3. I got to buy a new PS3 controller because I bought one and it was broken already. So I got to play that. Then I can play the reboot. Then 4 special edition. Then reboot special edition. Then 5, and I'll be caught up. Good game. These are in no particular order. They're basically the same game, but whatever. Okay, this is The Last Tinker. I didn't finish this. So this is like some sort of indie game. Came out a number of years ago. I'd call it a platformer, but you don't have a jump button. It's one of those weird games where it's like you just go around doing stuff. It was fine. Like, I think the art style is really cool and colorful. I think, like, you know, I don't think it's a bad game at all. I don't know. There was other things I wanted to do and play, and I wasn't super gripped with this one. But yeah, it's a thing, alright. Okay, next is Drakengard. So, I didn't finish this either. So, when I beat Alundra, I'm just like, that's the first RPG I've played in so long. I need to play another. Like, I just want to play more Japanese games, you know? And Alundra, I own all 3 in the first Nier. And I have for a while. It's been on the backlog for a while. So I was like, okay, let me just pop this in. And I will make sure I finish this. And so, this was in February. And at the very start of March was when I had to go back to school. So I think, how long did I put into this? I think maybe like 12 hours, maybe? I put a decent amount of time into it. I don't know how long that is, like, you know, relative to the length of the game. But, you know, it's weird, it's not fun, but like, I was enjoying my time with it. And it was very difficult too. But I am going to get back to this game. I really, really am interested in what these games are all about. Okay, the next game is Here Comes Nico. If you can see right there, I have the collector's edition on Switch. I just got that recently. You can't see it, but I've also got a frog plush. Okay. Technically, I would say Alundra is like a better, more well-crafted game than Nico. But Nico just like spoke to me so hard. So it's basically just like a really, really chill, wholesome, adorable, queer 3D platformer. And it was my game that I was playing to unstress after school. Because it's just like everything about it is just so fucking wholesome and so cute. And it's just so chill, you know, like there's no like failure states. You just go around and explore and do challenges that are like, you know, really like simple, and the writing is just so fucking cute and funny, and the art style is just, it's like a paper cutout sort of style, but it's like, it's really good and I really like it. I don't know how like recommendable this game is, but like if any of that like sounds nice to you, give it a shot, you know. Yeah, it just spoke to me a lot. I really fucking enjoyed this game. So yeah, that's Nico. Next is The Coffin of Andy and Lele. I only played the demo. I played this before it like blew up in controversy and had the fucking creator doxxed because implied incest. You know, like, you know, a game about like cannibalism and murder, but like they're brother and sister and it's like slightly horny. oh, the cannibalism and murder is fine, but like the other, it's so fucking dumb. Look, I'm not immune to anime bullshit, okay? Look, I'm not defending incest. I don't think it's like cool and based or whatever, but it's like, I've watched enough anime to become desensitized at this point. So it's, look, I liked the game, okay? I played the first chapter, I just played the demo. I like these really simple narrative-based games where it's like you, like literally the gameplay is just move with the arrow keys, and that's like it. There's no like real gameplay. It's just you just walk around and interact with things to like solve like the most rudimentary of puzzles, but the story is gripping. And honestly, the writing, the actual writing is like really fucking good. The dialogue is just like so punching above its weight, in all honesty. I just remember this one instance where after they'd killed like I think their third person or whatever, like they were still like coming to terms with the fact that they were doing this, and like they killed the third person, and then they got into an argument about something completely unrelated, and I was like, okay, here's like the argument part, because like, you know, they're in over their heads and they're getting emotional, but then it just like kept going, and it was just like, this just feels so real. Like, I don't know, I found the writing really well done, and I haven't played the rest of what they've released. I don't know who the creator is. I haven't played the rest of what they've released because I have been waiting for the full game to release, and that's where I'm sitting with it at the moment. I want the full game to release before I play the rest. But yeah, I just hate how, like, you know, this game got caught up in so much controversy because of like its implied like themes and stuff, but also just because, of course, it's a game that's like anime and it's kind of horny. So of course, like the fan base is gonna have the most fucking insufferable pieces of shit ever with these characters, their profile pictures, you know. So like, look, don't go on Twitter as the moral of the story. Next game. Okay, this is a game called Equinox. So, okay, my cousin sent me like an Instagram story or something of like, here's like 5 free Steam games that are like really chill and cool. And it was this one and a bunch of others that I also downloaded but just didn't play because I suck. I only played this first one. It's called Equinox. And, you know, it was fine. You know, very, very short, low budget sort of indie game. About like shifting realities to sort of solve puzzles sort of thing. Like, I thought it was fine. Like, I had a good time with it. I'm just gonna throw it in D. Like, not, again, like, none of these games are bad. I just think, like, in comparison to the rest of what I'm gonna be putting on here, I think it belongs there. I had a good time with it. Like, if you want to, like, if you got an hour to spare, you know, give it a look. Okay, next is Max Payne 3. So, this is the year that I was finally Remedy pilled, because I played all of Remedy's games and like adjacent, except for Death Rally. I still gotta play that. So before I played Max Payne 3, I replayed Max Payne 2. I talked about that earlier. I really loved it the second time. So then I played the third one, because it's like, when it came to the third game, it was just like, I feel like I haven't understood the second game enough to like get into the third one. So that's what I did. I replayed 2 and I was like, I get it now. And I love it. So then I felt like I was ready to play 3. I didn't know anything about 3, to be clear. I didn't think it was like this, you know, huge thing. It was like, I just felt like I wasn't giving the series enough respect by just like playing through them like, you know, willy-nilly, you know, just like whatever. But I went back to 2 and I really loved it. So, okay, let's play through Max Payne 3. And again, I've only played this the one time. So my thoughts on this are not final, but okay, I'm going to put it in A. But there's a catch. I think this is probably like the best third-person shooter I've ever played. Like, how intrinsically satisfying this game is to point your mouse and click on a guy's head. It's never felt better. Like, ever, I don't think. This game is fucking a blast to play. Like, okay, I love the shooting and I love the gameplay. You know, there's some differences between like this game and the originals when it comes to the combat, and I recognize that, and I accepted it. I don't think one is inherently better than the other, but the level of polish on display here, not just in the combat, the whole game is just dripping with like so much polish. Like you can tell, man, they spent close to $1 billion on this game, didn't they? Which is fucking insane to me. Like, look, I think there's a lot to be said about, like, I don't know if that's actually true. I just know this game is very, very expensive. There's a lot to be said when it comes to, like, you know, the budgets of AAA games, you know, nowadays, and how they're way too much. And I've talked about this on the stream, but like, look, I think some games should, like, if they can spend that money, you know. And Max Payne 3 fucking, look, I don't know if it deserved to spend that much money. I can't remember if this game did very well financially, but holy shit, does it show that this game had a fuck ton of money pumped into it, because it is just absolutely dripping with polish. Just, it's a really fucking cool experience. My hang-ups with this game comes down to the story. And look, I think that's kind of the consensus amongst the Max Payne community. I am not sure how I feel about this story. I think there are some instances where it was clearly underwritten, just a bit sloppy. There's a certain plot twist sometime through the game, told through a flashback, and then it's like, the plot twist is like Max coming, oh, why didn't I realize that at the time? You know, fucking like, fucking 6 hours into this game, like, oh, whoops, sort of thing. Like, it just made Max seem really stupid. So that one plot twist, while I don't think it was a bad plot twist inherently, I just think the way it was delivered was really sloppy. That's like the one instance I can think of just from the top of my head where it's like, that was a really dumb thing to do. But just as a whole, there's a lot of instances in this game where I'm just scratching my head like, why did it have to play out like that? That just seemed like a poor excuse to like get the fucking plot rolling again, sort of thing. But on a more fundamental level, I feel like Max's character was kind of, I feel his development was a bit undone from the second game, which is a shame. Like, I don't know, I really got to replay at least 2 and 3 again. I'm pretty like concrete on 1. You know, I'd replay it again anyway, just because it's a fucking great game. But I really got to play through 2 and 3 again to really ground my thoughts on both of them. Max Payne 3 is a really fun game. It's a really high polished experience, but narratively speaking, I'm unsure. Let's put it that way. Okay, real quick. Tori 3D and Tori 2. Really cool, like Sega Dreamcast inspired 3D platformers. I played 3D on a whim because I think from a Nitro Rad video, and it was really cool. I like got 100% because it was just like, oh man, this game's like really fun. I can just like, you know, waste a few hours on it. And then I played through the story of 2, and it's like, okay, I've had my fill of this type of gameplay, but you know, still really good. Really fun games. Play them. Okay, we're getting into Remedy territory now, proper. We just, you know, Max Payne 3 wasn't developed by Remedy, it was by Rockstar Games, which is, you know, why you can feel that disconnect from the originals. That's fine. Alan Wake. I don't know how to feel about this game anymore. I feel just so far removed from when I first played it. And I think it really is one of those games where it's like, multiple playthroughs are necessary. You know what I mean? Look, just straight up, I'm gonna chuck it in. Alright, I'm just straight up top of 8. I'm just gonna put it there. I need to replay this, okay? But okay, Alan Wake is really fucking good. It's like a really fucking trippy narrative. really leaning into like the meta themes that Remedy have kind of been playing with the first two games. I really enjoyed it. And look, I am just a sucker for the whole like Remedy stories thing. Like I'll get into that a bit later. I think it's really well done. The combat I actually really liked. I didn't know this, but like just like in the like last couple months, like I've seen some discourse about the first game. People didn't like this gameplay, and I'm just like, really? I thought like people like said like, you know, it's really clunky and unpolished, and it's like I guess I can kind of see that, but like I don't know, like it's a horror game. Are those like renowned for having like fine-tuned mechanics? I don't know, man. I thought this was actually like really fun. My issue with it is like I think so I beat this game and it's 2 DLCs and it took me like 18 hours. I feel like they could have maybe cut 3 to 5 hours out of the experience and it would have been better for it. I think there's a bit too much padding, especially when like so much of this game takes place in a very similar looking environment. Like having said that, I think this combat system is really fun. Like I am a bitch when it comes to horror games. But look, I played quite a few horror games this year, but I am a bitch when it comes to horror. And I feel like Alan Wake was a really good like gateway drug into like horror game sort of thing. Cause like it made me jump, it was creepy, the atmosphere was thick and tense, and I liked it. And so I appreciated that a lot. Look, like the thing I come to Alan Wake for, and Remedy as a studio as a whole really, is their stories and their way of telling narrative. You know, I don't think any of their games really, save for one possibly, really like came as close in terms of like gameplay fun as like the first Max Payne. And that's fine, right? I come to them for the narrative. And Alan Wake was really fucking good. But I don't know, I just feel so far removed from it now, especially because I've played the rest of Remedy's stuff that it's like, it's hard for me to like think of anything meaningful to say. So I need to replay it. And I really want to. So that's a good thing, right? Next is Alan Wake's American Nightmare. This is like a standalone DLC thing. It was like 3 hours long. I'm going to chuck it in B. Yeah, it's good. It's... Look, I don't know how canon this is. It's basically like a what if scenario based on like an in-universe TV show starring Alan Wake. Look, meta stuff aside, the story I don't think has any bearing on the overall series, but it does have some stuff to do with like a villain that I don't know how canon is, which would be a shame if it's not, because it was really good stuff. Anyway, like the whole experience, it's like it's fine. It's like a time loop thing where it's like there's 3 different levels and you play them 3 different times. Each time the events play out slightly differently. This time the combat is like way more action focused, way less horror. Like you've got like way like more diverse and like heavier hitting guns and stuff, which I think is cool. Like it's nice that this like combat system kind of got a send off in this game, and then it's got like its own like horde mode stuff and cool stuff like that. I think American Nightmare is cool, man. Oh, we've still got so much to do. Okay, we're gonna speed through these next few. If on a Winter's Night for Travelers is a free, so you should play it, indie point and click adventure with a really beautiful art style and really good writing and story. I think, man, I need to replay this because I think it really touched on some really profound things towards the end, and it was really beautiful. I really enjoyed it. So I'm gonna replay it, but I'm gonna chuck it top of B. And again, it's free. Go play it. It took like a couple hours. Really good. Highly recommend it. Next is Lego Indiana Jones. Look, I own the second Lego Indiana Jones on PS3. I have had it since I was a kid. I kind of got it when I got my PS3. I played the fuck out of it as a kid. I never really played the first one. So I was like, you know, I think I was rewatching Heart Vegan's video on should you fab to Lego Indiana Jones? And I was like, man, I should really play this game. So I played it. I bought it on Steam and I played it. Oh, fuck me. Yeah, it's you know, it's fine. it's a Lego game. Honestly, and then I played through the second game again on Steam. Honestly, I still prefer the second game. I know a lot of people hate it, but I think it's cool. I like the fact that every level is kind of like a little diorama of each film. And I love the exploration in 2. Whereas 1, it's just like, once you finish, like Lego games are meant to be 100%ed, right? And the first game was lame in that aspect. You just play the levels and play them again in free play. That's it. And it's like, that's so lame. Whereas the second one, it's like, you play through the story. Granted, the levels are a lot smaller and there's not as much to do. But you play through the story. You've got like these whole hub areas in every like chapter sort of thing that you can explore. Find vehicles to like ride around the hub world so you can do challenges to unlock more characters. And then like when you replay like the story levels, they're completely different. It's a whole new puzzle to solve. Like sort of like free play, but like it's different. Look, I'm not even talking about the first game here. I'm talking about the second one. The first game's fine. Look, it's fine. The second one's better. Anyway, Hotline Miami is a game that I definitely need to replay because I've been told that like it's a lot deeper than I experienced in the first playthrough, and I totally believe the people who are telling me that. I've only played it once. I found the overall vibe and aesthetic fucking sickly gross, and it just made me feel queasy. I don't know, it's just so fucking cool how like the whole thing is, you know? I don't know, I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna chuck it there. Look, I need to replay it. I know I'm missing a lot. I found the gameplay really difficult. It was a game that wasn't like it was a game I had to kind of force myself to play. I think because the aesthetic. No, don't get me wrong, I fucking love the aesthetic, but for whatever reason, it like made me feel physically like weird when I played it. Like just how fucking trippy it is, you know? At least like, you know, in the beginning when like you're in your apartment and you take a phone call or whatever, like that music and the colors and oh my god. Anyway, gameplay is really fucking tense and difficult. More of like a puzzle game than anything, if you really think about it. I really did enjoy it. I'm gonna replay it, and yeah. Okay, next is Stray. Look, I was kind of going into this wanting something different from what it turned out to be. Stray to me, like the concept of like, oh, you play as a cat in this post-apocalypse where there's no humans, it's only like humanoid robots. That sounds sick. Like that sounds really fucking cool, you know? And it is question mark. Look, what I don't like about this game is that couldn't we just have a game where you play as like a cat and like that's it? Instead it has to tell this like super self-serious story, and it's like, how can you tell like such a story like that when your main character that you play as can't speak? And it's like, I think it's kind of lame. I'm not gonna lie. I just did not care about the story. I really wish like, you know, we could have just gotten told like a story or whatever just through environmental storytelling, or still have characters but have there be like no dialogue because they're fucking robots, you know? We can't understand them, and we're a cat. We're not, how are we meant to know what any of these characters are saying, you know? Like I think it was really silly. I'm not gonna lie. Like I really dug the gameplay and the platforming. I thought it was really cool. I like the exploration. I wish there was a bit more. Like there's like 2 main areas, and like there's not a lot to do in each of them. Like, you know, I went exploring. I was pretty thorough, but they were kind of just small, you know? I wish this game was a bit more ambitious with its storytelling. In terms of like, you know, doing something cool and unique. Instead, like, it just like, the only thing that makes this game stand out is that you play as a cat, which is sort of novel, but they didn't really do anything with that concept, you know? So I'm gonna chuck it there. You know, I thought it was good. I had fun. I just wish that like it did something with its premise, you know? I was not invested in the emotional climax, okay? I did not care. It did not win me over. Okay, next is Ninja Gaiden for NES. Probably the hardest game I've ever played. I'm gonna chuck it. Ooh, there. This game is fucking badass, okay? So, let me give you the rundown because I'm stupid and gay, right? I'm playing the Devil May Cry games, and I want to play Devil May Cry 4. But there was another really hard-hitting action series that came about around the same time as Devil May Cry, Ninja Gaiden. Except it didn't come around that time. It was a reboot. It was a reboot series of Ninja Gaiden, and it played like Devil May Cry, sort of like a third-person action game, and it's really intense and difficult. And it's like, well, you know, I could play this like reboot series on the Xbox and have a good time, but like, I can't do that because I'm like this and I need to play the original. So I went back, I booted up an NES emulator, and I played the original Ninja Gaiden. And you know what? It was fucking worth it. What a fucking cool game. Like, okay, the director of this game, Hideo Yoshizawa, he's the creator of Klonoa. Like, this was his like first game, I'm pretty sure. Like, how fucking cool is that? And you can tell this guy was pushing like video game storytelling with the cutscenes in this game. They were like so like dynamic and cinematic for an NES game, you know? Really cool. But like the gameplay, oh my god, like it's just so fucking satisfying. And like, you know, it's really difficult, but it's one of those games where it's just like the trial and error is just like, yeah, let's go. Like I'm learning and I can feel myself getting better, you know? So, okay, when I first played this, I played with no save states up to a point because there's a really weird thing. It might even be a bug or an oversight where, so what typically happens is you'll have like a chapter, let's say like, I think the last one was chapter 6, and you'll have 3 levels, right? And when you die in a level, you go back to the start of that level. But if you get a game over, you go back to the start of the chapter. So you go back to 6-1 if you die in like 6-2. If you get a game over in 6-2. That's fine. But there's a really weird thing where there is a 3-stage boss fight at the very end of the game. It doesn't do this any other time. There's 3 bosses in a row. And they do a really weird thing where it's like, if you die, not even get a game over, if you die on one of these bosses, you get sent back to the start of 6-1. No idea why it does this. Like I said, this might even be a bug, because usually what happens when you die in a boss is you go back to the start of that level, I'm pretty sure. Either the start of the level, or back to the last checkpoint, which is like each room transition is a checkpoint in a level, right? If you just die. I'm not sure what the norm is, but I know that going back to the start of the chapter was not. So when I played through it the first time, and you've got to understand, 6-2 and 6-3, like the last 2 levels, unbelievably difficult. Oh my god, like the rest of the game was like, yeah, this is a good challenge, but like, you know, I'm getting through it and I'm learning. And then like I was stuck on that for literal hours on 6-2 alone, like the second to last level, hours. So difficult. So I hit save states. I couldn't help it. Save states in between the level, like in between the levels. I didn't save state mid-level or anything like that, but I did save state for the bosses. Once I beat a boss, I would save state, and that's what I did. And I felt scummy for doing so because like I want to like play it as authentically as I can, you know. So what I ended up doing, I can't remember how long after, but maybe like a month or so afterwards, I booted up the game again. with the intention, because the way these games worked is you couldn't save. There was no saving on the NES for these games. If you shut down the console, you had to restart from the very beginning. So I was like, okay, I need to play this in a single sitting. The whole game, start to finish. And so I sat down, I booted up stream with the intention to do so, and I started playing. Stream lasted 20 minutes because my internet was horrible. So I just streamed the rest in my Discord. So, and I had people on the call with me, and I played it legit. Once I got up to the final levels, and I got up to a boss, and I died, I took the L, and I went back to 6-1, and I kept grinding, right? It got to a point where I was getting good at those last 2 levels that were giving me such trouble. So, eventually, I beat the first boss in a good run, died, go back up to there. Oh, it checkpoints your boss progress. So I didn't have to play through all 3 levels and all 3 bosses in a single run. I could just keep going until eventually I beat each boss and beat the game. And that's what I did. I was there for a long time. People who are in the call with me can attest to this. I was there for a long time. That final boss, insanely difficult. It's like unfair how difficult this is, right? So, but finally I did it. I did it, and I think it's one of my proudest gaming achievements because I played through this game start to finish in a single sitting, fully legit. And it was just so satisfying. It is such a fucking awesome game. I would happily do it again if like I was in a call with friends, you know. Just so much fun. I need to get to the second game so I can play the third game, so then I could go and play the reboot series, so I can play 1, and then I can play DMC 4, and then Ninja Gaiden 2, and then be disappointed with Ninja Gaiden 3, and then play the DMC reboot, so I can play DMC 5. This is what it's all leading up, and so I can start the Bayonetta series, and I'm stupid, okay? Ninja Gaiden's really good. Next is Smuggler's Run. I didn't finish it. I started playing it because me and some friends are in the process of rewriting Jak 3, and I thought it would be essential for me to play the game that directly inspired Jak 3's setting and gameplay. Smuggler's Run by Rockstar. I don't know who the actual developer is, but they published it at least. It's really cool. I would just like, while in voice chats in the Discord with like Martian Deity and Yeshwant, I would just like stream the game to them as we're talking, just so I had something to do. I didn't finish it. I got pretty far. It's fucking difficult, like really hard. The controls are like really slippery and like it's in a desert, you know, like. Anyway, yeah, it was good. It was good. Okay, I spent way too long talking about Ninja Gaiden. I've got to move the fuck on. Okay, next Remedy games, Quantum Break. Okay, look, I love all of Remedy's games, this one included. This is easily their weakest, which does suck. I'm gonna chuck it... Okay, I'm gonna chuck it there. I had more fun with Quantum Break than I did Hotline Miami, but I know that I haven't gotten the full, like, I haven't squeezed all the juices out of Hotline Miami. To be fair, I haven't with Quantum Break either. I played through it once. I still need to do a second playthrough because, like, there's alternate story paths to take. But, like, I think it's fine. I liked the combat. I thought the shooting was really cool. I liked the powers. I thought it was fun. A lot of fun game. I might have had more fun with it on like just a gameplay level than Alan Wake, maybe, I don't know. The story was like, it was cool, and I liked the way they told it. I thought it was ambitious and weird, but like it didn't really like grasp me a whole lot. If you don't know, Quantum Break is a really weird experience where half the story is told in like live action TV show episodes where it's like you'll get up to a certain point in the story and then put the controller down, watch a 20-minute episode of like TV, like real ass like a episode of a show that takes place like in the story, like in that point in the story, and it is really cool and ambitious, and I'm glad they experimented with this sort of storytelling. Now, I fully believe that this is like a very unrefined version of what Remedy would go on to do later. So I'm very glad that this game exists because like they took what like they learnt with this game and like just like have just built upon it over the years. And I think it's really cool, and we'll talk about that soon. But this first outing, I think it was really clunky with the way they did it, because they literally just like would have normal game cutscenes as you're playing through the game, then you'd finish a chapter, and then like make like a choice at like some point in the game, and then like an episode of the show would play out. And I assume they play out slightly differently based on the choice you make, but like it didn't feel like they integrated the TV show aspect with the actual game. They felt just separate and disconnected, which is kind of disappointing. But like, I look, I liked the game. Okay, I liked it a lot. I still got to replay it, but yeah. Okay, I want to stop. I've been at this for ages now. But we've still got some to go. Okay, next is Control. This is Remedy's next game after Quantum Break. Okay. Control is like really good. I over the course of like 3 to 4 days, I sunk 33 hours into it, and I beat it like almost 100%. I beat the main story and I beat the 2 main DLCs, and I just played the absolute fuck out of it because, oh my god, this game. I think I'd put it there, or I'm gonna put it there. This game is so good. Like, I love this game's setting, this game's vibe, this game's tone. This game is just so fucking weird and strange and interesting, and it's so cool. Like okay, I think the story itself, like the actual narrative, is like, you know, it's fine. Like, I don't really remember a lot of the plot beats, if I'm being completely honest, but just everything surrounding it is just so like interesting, you know, and it's really cool. Like the lore and the way it's told and what it leaves out, and like it actually does leave things out, doesn't over explain everything, and the way it ties into like previous games, and so cool. It is so cool. And the aesthetic, like this brutalist fucking weird ass building that shifts and changes and is like so fucking weird and cool. And god, this game was like such a fucking, like this game was just like so artistically interesting and daring and risk-taking. And then the gameplay, ooh, oh my god, the gameplay, like this, I think I had more fun with this than Max Payne, but it's hard to tell. Max Payne is just like a very simple concept done like really, really well, that is just like fun to just play for hours and hours at a time, you know? That is that sort of game. Control is a little more complex, it has more complex mechanics, and it's just so fucking fun. Like, you're just flying around with these powers, and you throw the fucking concrete, and you're blasting the guys, and then you're throwing the guys, and it's so much fun. It's so much fun. Like literally, the reason I like fucking binged it was because I was just so addicted to playing it, and I very rarely get like that with games. So it was like usually I have to force myself to play a game, like, and like be present with it, like not having YouTube on in the background or whatever. Like, playing new games, I always give it my full attention and try and immerse myself as much as I can, and it's very hard to do sometimes. I need to force myself to do it. And this game just captured me so hard. I fucking loved it. Yeah, I really, really liked it. I loved Jessie as a character. I thought she was really, really cool. I can't wait to play as her again at some point in the future. Yeah. Control was sick. Yeah, really recommend it. Okay, next is The Looker. Now, this is like a spoof game, like a parody game of a game called The Witness, which I played in 2020, and I thought was cool. It was like it's like a first-person puzzle game where you did these like line puzzles on these grids sort of thing. Really complex and difficult puzzles. I couldn't finish it on my own. I ended up resorting to a guide at some point. But like the narrative is trying to tell, or if it even has a narrative, it's sort of weird, artsy sort. It's I use the word artistic a lot. This is artsy, you know, where it's like there's no characters or anything. You're like you don't know who you are. You just like start the game, and strewn about this like weird abandoned environment are a bunch of like audio logs, and it's just like characters reading philosophical passages from like different writers and stuff like that. And you know, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really interesting and really really cool. Even if I didn't really get like a whole lot from it. But this game, The Looker, kind of absolutely takes the piss with this whole game, and I fucking love it. It's like it's the funniest fucking thing, and I don't even know how to rank this. This is like unrankable. It's like 2 hours long, and it's not like difficult. There's no like real puzzles to it. Just the way like it does the dialogue thing, how it's really funny. I fucking love it. I'm gonna chuck it there. Like I don't think it. I liked it better than Stray, okay, but like these games are like they're all trying to do something. I think Emperor's New Groove I think it's just a lot of fun. Yeah, I just like The Looker a lot. It's so funny. Okay, I've run out of water, so we've got to hurry this up. Okay, Portal. I don't really know what to say, and I don't know how I really feel about it. I thought it was good, and I thought it was fine. Not very long. I'm gonna chuck it like there. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just I thought it was good, and I thought the puzzles were fun. I thought it was fun. I just wasn't really captured by the whole experience sort of thing. I'm definitely going to revisit it sometime down the line. Okay, Adventure Time. Hey Ice King, why'd you steal our garbage? 3DS Adventure Time game. I was rewatching the Adventure Time series, and I kind of wanted to play the video games like in correlation with when they came out in relation to the show. So I finished season 4, and I started playing the game on 3DS, and I finished it. Really weird at times. Like the writing's really off and weird. Like I don't know. It's like there's a side mission where you've got to find Princess Bubblegum's pantyhose, and it's like, huh? But like, you know, like as a game, it's like it's fun. I'm gonna chuck it like that. It's fine. It was like 5 hours long. It's fine. Whatever. Okay, Half-Life. I started playing and I didn't finish it. Like my friend Deity made a good point. It's like, well, really, you played Portal and haven't played Half-Life? I'm just like, yeah. What is wrong with me? I'm like that person, you know, like I've got to play everything in order, and blah, blah, blah. I didn't play Half-Life. Like, yeah, weird. Look, I played it for 4 hours, and I was enjoying it. Like, I don't know. I have like little experience with 90s PC gaming, which sucks because I want to know more about that like world of gaming, right? And I know Half-Life was really like instrumental in all of that. Like literally the only things I think I've played are like the id games, like Wolfenstein, Doom, and Quake. I don't really think I've played much other than that. So I'm just kind of unfamiliar with that whole like scene, that whole era of gaming. And like I was enjoying it, but the game was kind of punishing, and I didn't find the shooting super fun. Like I get like Half-Life was like a whole big deal because of the way like it did narrative in a shooter sort of thing. But there wasn't much narrative as I was playing it. It was like all shooting, and the shooting was like nowhere near as good as like the id games. So I don't know, I just wasn't super like encapsulated by it. So I kind of just, it was another thing where it's just like I looked at it and it was like, oh, that's right, I'm in the middle of playing this. Oh, I don't really want to play that right now. Oh. So I just kind of stopped playing it. Not bad, but like I will get back to it later. The Stanley Parable is one that I've wanted to play for years, and I finally played it and it was really, really good. I'm going to chuck it like there. I thought it was really charming. I went through a bunch of the different endings. I'm pretty sure I got all of them. I thought it was really, really, really funny. I thought, oh, maybe I'll chuck it there. I don't know. I'm going to chuck it there, okay? Really good. Really loved it. Pocket Mirror. I started playing Pocket Mirror in 2022, because through chance, I found the developer on Twitter advertising the game they were working on at the time, Little Goody Two Shoes, which has now released, and I own, haven't played it. Pocket Mirror was their first game, I think, as far as I can tell. It was released in 2016. Little Goody Two Shoes is a prequel to it. And the game looked really cute and really cool. So I was like, okay, let me play the first game, which is Pocket Mirror. It was free on itch. They also released a remake of it this year. I'll play it some other time. But it was free on itch, and I'm just like, hell yeah, let's play it. It is a really cool 2D pixel art, like sort of horror game. In like a similar vibe to like You Made Nikki and stuff like that, like an RPG Maker horror game. And again, I'm not really familiar with that like scene, that like vibe of games, but I really dug this. Just from the get-go. I sunk what, 3 to 4 hours into it, but it was a game where it was like, again, I'm a bitch when it comes to horror, so I was playing it in the dark, headphones on, for maybe a half an hour per session. You know, it was very stressful, but I was really into it. But it just got to a point. It just got to a point where it was like my sessions were becoming less and less like close to each other. Like they just spreaded further and further apart because it was like, I'm too scared to play this. So like it came to a point where it was like, I hadn't played it in months, and I was like, I don't want to drop this because I really liked it, but like now I can't remember anything that happened in the story. So I was like, okay, it's October, let's play spooky games. I started playing Doom 3 on stream, and it's like, well, that game was also stressing me out. Let's play another game in the same stream because I can only play that for like an hour at a time. So I started playing Pocket Mirror on stream. I played it for maybe an hour. Maybe an hour and a half. I can't remember how long. It wasn't super long, but I got close to where I got up to in the whole time I played the last time in a single sitting. And it wasn't scaring me as much. Maybe because I already knew what was coming. Maybe it was because I was on stream. Probably both. And then I decided I'm not going to play this on stream. I don't like playing new experiences on stream. I'm going to play this on my own. So I finally worked up, like, I was finally like, okay, I'm going to play this. And it was fine. Sort of. I was still scared. It was still a scary experience. But like, scary. It's creepy, you know, and Pocket Mirror is a really cool game. Again, mechanically, you don't really do much, but like walk around and interact with things in very, very rudimentary puzzles. But the story and the art and the world and the atmosphere and everything is just like so really well crafted. And I need to play this again like maybe 5 times. Not only because I didn't get a good ending, but also because like there's just so much to dig into. Like this game is really narratively complex, and I really look forward to playing more. So I'm exhausted. Pocket Mirror is gonna go like there, I think. I really loved it. Doom 3 is a game that I have played many times over the years, but I never finished it. And it was October, and I'm like, okay, spooky game season. I'm gonna finally like play some scary games on stream, and I'm gonna finally fucking finish this game. It sucks though, because I had like a whole list of scary games, mostly like indie ones that I owned, and like we could play this on stream, but it was like Doom was the only one I managed to get to because I could only play it for like an hour at a time because it was so stressful. It was a lot of fun though. Doom is like it's fine. Like, look, I'm a massive fan of the Doom series, but like, and I truly do really like Doom. Actually, I'm gonna put it like that. I truly really like Doom 3. Honestly, I think like in terms of like what it was trying to do with the series, I think it was more forward thinking than Doom 2016 is. Even though I like that game a lot better. I think Doom 3 was trying to do like the Doom reboot thing in a much more interesting way. Like adapting the source material sort of thing more interestingly. Yeah, Doom 3 was really good. Oh, okay, last stretch here. Last few games. And the last one is Alan Wake 2. Oh my god. This is the only game that I played this year that came out this year. And this is video games, ladies and gentlemen, and NB queers out there. Look. this is like the most innovative narrative experience I have experienced in such a long time. Like, everyone's going on about like 2023 is like one of the greatest years in gaming, blah blah blah, and it's just like, look, how many of these games are we going to remember in 20 years? You know, like, oh yeah, Spider-Man 2 did such like an amazing thing for this medium, you know, this artistic medium. Oh yeah, Spider-Man 2. Oh yeah, Starfield, you know, like, no. We're going to be talking about Alan Wake 2 for years. Alan Wake 2 is just like the trippiest fucking narrative experience. Like, it is just so, oh my god. And it's like, if you're going to play this game, play Max Payne 2, Alan Wake, Quantum Break, and Control first. Like they all matter, and this game is just so fucking insane. And look, I personally have become really disaffected with like a lot of how fan service is handled in media nowadays. I think a lot of it is really cynical, and I think a lot of it is really like poorly handled just to like, for nostalgia's sake, right? I think Alan Wake 2 has fan service, and I think it's done in a really cool way because it's done with like narrative purpose, and it's done like really interestingly, and I think it's so fucking cool. As far as I'm aware, it's also James McCaffrey's final role because he passed away not too long ago, like just in the past couple weeks. And that fucking sucks because he's been such like a huge part of my life since I played Max Payne, you know? And that fucking sucks, but he killed it in this game. He really fucking did. And every other game he's been in. So, man, I haven't even talked about the gameplay. Like, that's the thing. Like, Alan Wake 2 is just like, as like an artistic experience, as a thing, a fucking art piece. Like, there's nothing like it. It's so unique. The gameplay though, like, it's good. I haven't really played any of these sort of Resident Evil inspired like third person shooter horror games. Look, I think this is the scariest game I've ever played, and granted I haven't played a lot of horror games, but I was jumping and lurching so fucking hard this whole experience, mostly because of how it built the atmosphere. Like, this game understands jump scares, you know? Like, there's so many, like, I think about the elderly retirement home level, and how like you get there, like you come back there after doing some stuff and the power's out and no one's around. It's like, fuck, I gotta turn the power back on, and it's in the basement, and you're just expecting something out there because you've already been fighting like monsters, right? And you expect something down there, and you're trudging through there, and then you turn the power, and like nothing's happening. Why isn't there anything happening? You turn the power back on, and you're like, okay, now something's gonna happen. And nothing happens, and you're just like, fucking scare me already, because like you just can't handle the tension. And then like you work, okay, you go back out the way you came, and you come out of the basement. It's like, okay, nothing happened. What's going on? And then you go back in the house and still nothing happened, and then eventually something happened, and it's like the way this game builds tension, and it's so fucking good. And look, like, I didn't find the gameplay super duper compelling. I found Saga's gameplay way scarier than Alan's, because like Saga is in like, I don't want to say anything because like, look, this game is really fucking good. It really is like the next step in video game storytelling, video games as an art form. This is like, it actually fucking innovated this year, you know? And look, I don't think any of Remedy's games have really spoken to me like Max Payne has, but like, holy shit, Alan Wake 2 is just like really good. Go play it. Next is Senran Kagura Burst. I started playing this like a long time ago now. Okay, this took me about a year to finish. In my defense, there's two separate playthroughs. And the first one I was kind of trying to 100%, and this game is very repetitive. And like, look, this game is like, it's fine. It's really fine trash. Okay, it's like a side-scrolling hack and slash, and like you play as like anime waifus in like a ninja school, and when you fight your opponents, their clothes rip off. I am very easy to play. Look, it's really dumb. The gameplay's like, it's surprisingly fun. It's fine. And there's 2 playthroughs, one for each like school of ninjas. And it took me a long time to finish because I just kept putting it down because like the gameplay's just so repetitive. And then it has like really long visual novel sections, and it's just like, okay. But eventually I finally finished it, and like it was really good. And I can't wait to not play the next one because it's another 3DS one. I want to play the 3D games. I'm excited for those. Next is Franbo. I just finished this 2 days ago. Another horror game. I played a lot of horror games this year. A point and click story game that was really cool. I have a couple small things about it though. Where am I gonna chuck it? I'm gonna put it like there. Actually there. Maybe not. I'm gonna put it there. So Franbo, it's like it gives me a lot of very similar vibes to the Alice games, because like you play as like a young girl in like, you know, like a setting set way far in the past, like 1930s. And she is like very like mentally ill. And instead of going to Wonderland, like the mechanic is like you take these pills and then like you see into like another reality sort of thing. And that's how you solve puzzles. And I think it was really cool, really creepy, really fun. My only gripe with it is I feel like when it comes to like the story and the lore and stuff, I do kind of feel like they over-explained some stuff. Like, yeah, I'm gonna leave it there without spoiling anything. I thought like the narrative was cool and it was fun. I kind of want to replay this sometime in the future. Like, because I played it kind of spread apart a little bit. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought the artwork was really, really good. Oh, dude, some of the music in this is like genuinely like so beautiful. Especially like the chapter 3 stuff. It's really, really good. I had a really good time with this one. Last game here is Hexy's Force. It's a PSP RPG. I'm currently playing it. I haven't played it in a couple weeks now because I got stuck and then I just haven't gone back to it. I really got to, but I don't want to drop another fucking game. Yeah, it's fine. Like, it's nothing special, but it was just like, it's already installed on my PSP. I want to actually finish an RPG, you know, because I haven't finished one in so long, especially like a turn-based one. Like, I like them a lot, but I haven't played one in so long. That's it. Thank you very much for watching this. This was a lot of fun. I will see you later. Bye-bye. Hey, just real quick, I just wanted to say I kind of totally forgot to like say, this year 2023, I started recording all of the games and tracking them that I played on sites like How Long To Beat and Backlogged. I don't know which one I like better just yet, so it's like I just update both. So if that interests you and you want to like have a look at the games I've played, I kind of want to write short descriptions of them in the notes as well. You can look down in the description, where I also have my anime list account, which I update a lot and write short reviews of everything I watch and read on there as well. So like, you know, go check it out. Bye bye.